Don't get blinded by the light from fame. We're all ordinary people at the end of the day. We make decisions, some good, some bad, but we all pushing for things we never had.
Ordinary people with extraordinary ways.
Yeah.
Everyday people trying to make a way.
It's just us.
Ordinary people with extraordinary ways.
Yeah.
Trying to make a difference step by step each day. It's just us.
Hi, I'm Charlene Bowden. Welcome to It's Just Us. Joining me today is Miss Lauren Lopez de Azua. I met Lauren about a little over 2 years ago, and one thing that attracted me to Lauren was her passion and her zeal and her zest for life. Lauren is a wife, she's a mom, she's a health enthusiast, and she, like many of us, has worked on many diverse jobs in diverse industries, but today, Lauren is an entrepreneur. She has 2 thriving businesses. One, she is a photographer, and she is a yoga instructor, and she's a friend of It's Just Us, and she's my friend too. So welcome, Lauren, to It's Just Us.
Thank you so much, Charlene. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so glad to have you with me today.
Thank you, thank you.
And you're in the seat today.
I know. It's different. It's different than being next to you on that side and talking to someone else.
Yeah,
So.
but you have so much to share, and I wanted to make sure that people know Lauren Lopez de Azua.
Thank you so much.
So you have worked in a lot of diverse industries. You've been in aeronautics, IT, law enforcement.
Yeah, well, I was a civilian for law enforcement, but yeah, I really, I've always, you know, having a lot of different jobs kind of gets a bad rap. People think like, oh, it's inconsistent, but when I was, you know, I had my first job working at a barbecue restaurant at, I think 15 before I could drive, but you know, starting there, I always wanted to see what it was like to do all these different things.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I've helped open a French bakery once, you know, I did the whole like, worked at Starbucks, the barista thing. I mean, you know, definitely I think the police department was one of my favorite jobs. It's where I met my husband, you know. But, you know, photography has been really the one thing that just like sunk its teeth into me. I've never been able to let it go. There's been times where, I mean, you know, any kind of entrepreneurial venture, it's a lot of work, and you know, things don't always just happen like that. And so there's been times where I'm like, you know, I'll just do something else, something that's a little more, you know, easy or just comes more naturally, or not comes more naturally, but you know, that you can get like a regular, you know, 9-to-5 job in, and I just could never let it go. I couldn't, once I tasted that entrepreneurial, you know, it changes you.
Yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And you know, one thing I really love, occasionally you'll put pictures on the internet, online, and I love how you capture those special moments with families.
Thank you so much.
So you actually have coined, I guess, for yourself, newborn and family photography?
Yeah, you know, it took me a really long time to settle with a niche, so to speak. That's a really big thing in the photography community now is pick a niche, pick a niche. I'm like, no. I like, you know, I'm a very competent photographer, you know, I'm able and capable of doing all these different things, and I love that variety. But, you know, from a business standpoint, when it comes to knowing your audience and speaking to your audience, well, when your audience is all of these different people, it's hard to have anything to say. So, you know, it's like, well, who do I really feel passionate about speaking to? I'm passionate about business and all of that. But, you know, at the end of the day, being a mom, I mean, I wanted to be a mom for as long as I can remember. I always knew I was going to one day like have a son. I just knew it in my bones. I've always wanted to be that. So that pregnancy, newborn, family, that, you know, I love it so much, and I feel like I have a lot to say in that area, and I can relate to that in a way, and I understand what it's like to be a parent and be experiencing all this day-to-day stuff, the good and the bad, and just wish you could like bottle that moment and capture that. And I can do that with my photography. And you know, I kind of joke, I've jokingly started to say to people, you know, my photography, it's lifestyle. You know, I'm known for making dads cry. You know, because you know it's like when you can get a dad to cry, you know you've really captured the essence of, you know, what a family's experience is together and what makes them a family unit. And makes that story so beautiful.
Yeah, we're gonna come back in a few minutes and keep talking about your photography work. It's Just Us, Lauren Lopez de Azua. We'll be right back.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today. We're back. Thanks for joining us again. And you mentioned, Lauren, before the break, the joys and the happiness and all the wonderful things of the newborn and family photography. But what have been some of your challenges?
Oh, wow. Well, specifically with my photography, I would say, well, aside from, you know, kind of coming to that decision of focusing on that, I don't know. I mean, honestly, photography is something that just feels so like an extension of who I am that, you know, concerning my shoots with people, I mean, I still get anxiety before every shoot, which it feels sometimes ridiculous to me because I've been a photographer for almost 8 years, and so you would think it's just, you know, whatever, but you know, you're dealing with real people, you know, in their real lives, and especially since I structure, so to speak, my sessions around an activity that the family enjoys, and it's very, you know, relaxed and fun. You never know what you're gonna get, you know? So, you know, it could be just utter madness, but, you know, so I get this, you know, kind of butterflies in my stomach, anxiety before every shoot, just because I care about what I produce for people. But I've never really had any big problems, you know, that have come about. So it feels unnecessary to have that anxiety, but maybe it's part of the creative
And it's your
process.
passion, too.
Yeah.
So you're just following your passion.
Yeah, I just, you know, I guess maybe I care about it so much that I'm like, I just want it to be so great every time. So
Tell that wonderful story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what advice would you give to someone who's entering into this photography as a career choice?
Oh, goodness. Well, especially, I would say, if you want to have a career being a photographer and having a photography business, while honing your craft in a technical and creative aspect is very important, I would say that a lot of people interested in photography get very hung up on that, on learning the next greatest technical thing or creative thing for photography. I think once you come to a style that you're happy with, you really need to focus on business, because
business of the business.
Yes, because you know, my first foray into being a photographer full time, you know, it was a bit of a crash and burn. Not because my you know, my work wasn't up to par, but because I knew nothing about running a business. You know, when you run a business for whatever you do, you could, you know, anything. The thing that you went into business for becomes a much smaller part of it. You know, there's all the things like accounting and, you know, managing your workflow and all of these other things. So focusing on that, and there are so many wonderful resources now where people don't have to go into a lot of, you know, education debt and all this stuff to do it. You know, there's wonderful, you know, Creative Live and lynda.com, and there's so many things you can learn in that realm that I would say do that.
Do that.
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing this. In a few minutes, we'll be back to talk about more of Lauren's endeavors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
I feel like it's my duty to serve these kids. I cannot change Sierra Leone, but those 26, I can impact their lives in a way that would bring on change.
And to go and be a part of it, and to, you know, just to minister love to a broken heart.
So what we really want to do is, as much as we've been helping them, we've given money, and we want to be able to build a place that they can see as their home. I asked the Lord, I was like, why are you giving me this grandiose idea of for a building for these kids? They just need a space. And you know, the Lord said to me, I want them to see a picture of my love so deep that whenever they see that building, they will know they deserve it and they are worth it.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. a whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Thank you for coming back with us, Lauren. As a health and wellness enthusiast, you actively practice yoga.
I do.
But recently you've decided to be an instructor. Why was teaching important to you?
Well, I began practicing yoga when I was pregnant with my son, Gabriel. Prior to Gabriel, we were pregnant with our first child and lost a baby. So when we became pregnant with Gabriel, I was so concerned about, doing something that, staying very healthy, but doing something that I felt was very gentle. So that, brought me to the physical practice of yoga. And then after I had Gabriel and, started to experience the, what some people know as baby brain, where I just everything felt like the day was going really fast and I couldn't remember things and everything felt foggy. I then, realized that part of yoga was meditation, and that centering and grounding, and it wasn't just about exercise. And that saved me. I mean, it really did. I felt like I got my life back in a way because I didn't feel like the days were just gone. So that was, Gabriel just turned 6, so about almost 7 years I've been practicing. And last year I just decided, I'd been struggling with whether or not photography was, really bringing enough meaningful work into the world. So I decided that, perhaps I could, do something, offer something of a deeper value with my yoga practice. So I became an instructor. And then I also, dipped my toes into a life coaching certification as well. And actually, through those things, I gained a different perspective on my photography and realized that, that work does matter, and I am, touching people in a deeper way, and providing them something that, helps them to appreciate their life more. But, so I haven't really, with my yoga practice and with teaching, it's more something that I do on a volunteer basis, and that was an amazing experience to just go away and do my training at an ashram, and it was wonderful. Yeah. And you were just so grounded, as you'd say. When the time that we saw you after you got back, it was like, oh, look at Lauren. She's been away. she's bringing all of that back to us. Yeah. It really gave me a lot of great perspective on just everything I had going on in my life, and realizing that every piece of what you do in your life is a part of your practice. It's practice in Vedantic philosophy and in Buddhism, meaning referring to more than just when you sit on a meditation cushion or on a yoga mat. It's like, it's what you do in every day that matters.
So where can people find you online?
LaurenLopezPortrait.com is my photography website. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, and that's where I'm at.
Yes, and you can find us at itsjustustalkshow.com. I'm sorry, itsjustustalkshow.com. And for guest consideration, please email us at itsjustustalkshow@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You can join or subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much again, Lauren, for being here. I love your presence anytime.
Thank you so much.
Don't be a stranger.
Absolutely not.
Okay, great. And hope you'll join us next time as well. It's Just Us. I'm Charlene Bowden. Until next time, I hope you will continue to happen to life. Take good care.